His whole life he was going against these rabbis. Why? He said they're wicked and he's righteous. How? We're not really sure. Why? Because he says, I'm here to comply with the Torah. But if you look at what he says, it's not exactly complying with the Torah. One simple example. He says to his students in the book of Matthew, he says to his students, go get me that donkey. Go get me that donkey, and if it's tied to the tree, untie it and bring it to me. That's called stealing. Thou shalt not steal. Obviously, if it's tied, if it's just a donkey roaming in the middle of nowhere, efker, doesn't belong to anybody. But if it's tied to a tree, that means the owner is nearby. So they tell him, well, maybe the owner is nearby. They know, obviously, even the students weren't as stupid as him. They say, maybe the owner. He goes, no. If somebody tells you something, tell them it's for me. Like it's a mafia. Tell them it's for me. Then you have another place. Jesus, they rebuke him and say, why are you violating Shabbat? I'm above Shabbat. Above Shabbat? You're above Shabbat? You know that Shabbat is another name for God? Did you guys know that? Shabbat is another name for God. You're above God? You're above the covenant? You're above the number one treasure of Hashem Yitbarach? You're above Shabbat? So how come you don't keep it? You said in another place in your New Testament that you're not here to change the law. Not even a yud, not even a letter. You're changing Shabbat. I had a debate with a Catholic missionary in my dentist office I told you guys about. What was the end of the debate? I told him, yeah, you say you follow the Torah, right? He says, yeah, of course we follow the Torah. I said, what day is Shabbat? He goes, no, we changed it. Changed it. If God gave Shabbat as part of the Ten Commandments, who are you to change it? You human nothing. Where they learn it from? They were learning it from this false leader. And there's many, many other places which we're going to go over of how he's a completely full of lies. Yeah. No, the ones that wrote the book, first of all, we actually don't know who wrote the book. Because it's not like the book of Matthew ends with, love Matthew. It was actually written anonymously. Each one was written anonymously, anywhere between 70 to 300 years after he died. So there's different opinions of who wrote the book, who wrote which one. The books, each one contradicts the other. There's a lineage in one book of 25 people connecting Joseph to King David. But another book is a completely different list for the same person. So there's multiple arguments. One argument says, no, it's because they're trying in essence to connect Jesus to King David, to prove he's the Messiah. But you have a problem. You just said that Jesus is the Son of God. He's not related to Joseph. What do I care if Joseph is connected to David or not? He's not his father. He said that Mary got pregnant by God. Shem Menachem. So there's a lot of contradictions in the books. So now, continuing. You already see that the Gemara of the worst punishment matches the New Testament. Why? It says, Jesus himself says, I am in Gehenom forever, in Tzoarotachet, in poop that's boiling, lava of poop forever. Why? I went against the rabbis. You look at his book, regardless of who wrote it. Everyone follows it. There's 200,000 versions of it. All agree he went against the rabbis. Already you have something, it sounds kind of the same. Already sounds kind of the same. Now, you have yourself another thing. You have this Mishnah, this week's Mishnah. This week's Mishnah says, Rabbi Yossi Omer, Kol ha-mechabed et ha-Torah, gufo mechubad al habriot. וכל המחלל את התורה, גופו מחולל על הבריות. בעזרת השם we'll connect this Mishnah to Yoshke.